Okay, well, the topic today is how to keep talking when no one wants to listen. What does that mean? I do it all the time. I talk to anybody. I'll talk to that pole, you know? Huh? How to keep talking when no one wants to listen. Why is it so important to keep talking? Who can tell me?
Let out your frustration.
Huh?
Just to let out.
Just to let out everything, good and bad, right?
Right.
Communication is huge. It's one of the #1 things with coping with stress. Why? Because you got to get your stressors up and out. You need to be talking about the things that are bugging you and upsetting you and stressing you and tormenting you and keeping you awake at night. So the need to do a very, very simple thing in stress management is just open your mouth, right? Because you do have a lot of feelings that you are dealing with Parkinson's disease. Am I right? A lot of feelings, some good, some not so good, some not great at all, right? And the more that you hold things in, the more that you suppress things, the more that you pack it down in you, the more stressed you're going to become, the more it's going to burden you, torment you, and really spoil your quality of life. So what are some things that you're thinking? The other thing that I learned a long time ago is you can never assume what somebody else is thinking. Did you know that, ladies? It's usually we girls that say, well, he didn't say this, he didn't do that. Well, did you tell him no? Well, okay. You're right? But even though you know somebody extremely, extremely well, nobody can really understand or fully confirm what anybody else in their life is thinking. The only way that you know that is what? Through communication, through the need to get it up and get it out. So do not consume. What are some of the things that you're thinking as a patient or a caregiver living with Parkinson's disease? What are some of the things that crossed your mind during the course of the day? What are some of your thoughts? Yeah.
What a good day. I can work on my trains.
Well, yeah, what a good day you can work on his trains. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear starting out with the lead conversation, something positive. And I heard that you weren't doing your trains quite as much as you're doing it now, right? And that made me really...
I've done more in 2 weeks than I did in the last 2 years.
Okay. Well, that's a testimony that you need to give to Maureen, because that's what I want to hear from you. That's what I want to hear from you. A lot of times, folks, when they are asked to embrace a Parkinson diagnosis and when they are asked to accept the symptoms, the side effects, the way that it can affect you physically, emotionally, mentally, and socially, you know, they can shut down. They can say, oh, woe is me, you know, it's just easier, you know, to get them a little old recliner, it's easier for somebody else to do it for me. One of the missions of Parkinson Place is to really get you charged up, really to get you emotionally up there, to get you motivated, to get you empowered, to get you physically strong and engaged in life, because we don't want you to give up your life. So for you to sit there and say that you weren't doing your trains that are so meaningful to you for 2 years, and now it's a beautiful day and he's doing his trains, that's really kind of good, right? I might ask you to bring a train to go around our Christmas tree.
You got it.
Okay, because you know what, it was a true story. Last year we decorated and we found this little old kid's toy train, you know, that just went around the tree, and it wouldn't go. It just wouldn't go. The new batteries and shaking it in the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to ask you if you would do that for us, and we can have
how big these are.
These are good outdoor trains.
I don't care.
Okay.
Bring them in. Bring them in, and we can get a video of you setting up your trains. And don't you think, Maureen, that would be a great thing? And I would really like that. I've always loved trains.
He's had one since the first year we were married.
Yeah, my daddy had the HO size, which is the
That's
itty
what we
bits.
started with.
The little itty bits, you know, with the little figures that you have to hold with tweezers to paint the door and things. You know. But I'm going to hold you to that, so I'll let you know when we want to have
You want a
that.
Christmas train or just a plain one?
Whatever you want. Just want to go right one track around the thing. We'll talk on that. But see that his motivation, his passion is, well, you know, I can do my trains, and I love to do my trains. And I'm gonna focus on now really the things that make me happy in my life. And I think seniors should be looking at that anyway, right?
Right now, it's not making him happy because he's undoing all the neglect of the last 2 years.
Okay, but that's a huge project, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
It's always a really good thing to take something and, you know, give it some attention and fix it and make it the way that you want it to be, to restore something. I think it's a real healthy thing. So I think restore is a good word. You know, that you need to maintain yourself and restore yourself. Because if you were living with Parkinson's disease for a long time, before you really embrace the PRF disposition for how to live well, all right? We have a certain way that what I try to teach and encourage you, and that is just to get your head on straight, be happy in your skin, get a smile on your face, stay engaged, and just be the best that you can be. How many of you are doing that? What about table 1 and table 2 over here? Huh? I got this for you. If you're coming here to the classes, if you're coming here for the lunches, if you're coming here to see your Dr. Juan, if you're coming here to see Dr. Madden for a second opinion or to have the best medical management in the city, then you're doing great. You've taken ownership in your life and the ability that only you have the power to make your life the best that it can be. Whose responsibility is it? Whose responsibility is it? It's yours. It's yours. You caregivers, it's your liability to be happy and healthy and strong and accepting and positive. And my Parkinson patients, it's up to you to grab hold of everything in your life that's going to get you standing up and moving forward. Right? We try to offer everything for you, but it's up to you to receive it and to use it. Okay? How does having Parkinson's disease make you feel? It's all about how the human being feels. Did you know that? It doesn't really matter so much how you are. Well, it does. It doesn't matter so much how you are. The thing that really matters is how do you feel? Because it's your attitude, it's the way that you think about things, it's the way that you process things, it's the way that you accept things that gives you the power and the potential to live well with anything. So how does Parkinson's disease make you feel?
Frustrated.
Frustrated? I would like to do one talk that I don't hear the word frustrated. How many of you feel a sense of frustration? What makes you frustrated is very fair. I want you to understand that with your feelings, if you're feeling them, they're real. And if you're feeling them and they're real, you need to talk about them and you need to accept them. And you need to say, you know, it's okay to feel this way, as long as it doesn't overcome your life. So those of you that feel frustrated, tell me why. Why do you feel frustrated?
You've lost part of what you've been able to do.
Mm-hmm. You've lost part of what you've been able to do.
And you don't know what you're facing in
Two
the
things,
future.
two really important things. You've lost a lot of the things that you could do, you know, and it's lovely to go through life with a sense of independence. That sense of independence is huge when it comes to esteem and confidence and quality of life. Well, truth be told, that with some of the physical changes with Parkinson's disease, it becomes more difficult to be as independent as you used to be or as you like to be, okay? It can be little changes or it can be really big changes. But the need to be dependent or the need to give up the things you love to do, it's tough, isn't it? The human being, I don't know about you, but I know what I want and I know what I like to do and I want to have it and I want to do it. And this is just who we are. And it's hard to say you can't do it or you can't have it. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the fact that you've lost the ability to do some of the things that you used to do? Like what?
Driving.
Like driving, number one answer, driving. You know, those car keys are a great sense of independence, isn't it? Great sense of impulsivity. Grab the car, jump in the front seat, and out we go, right? We also lose a sense of impulsivity with Parkinson's disease. So it's not only the fact that maybe you shouldn't be driving. How many of you have put the keys on the dresser and left them there? How many of you do that willfully? Stan?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. That's my Stan. He's always honest with me. I'm glad you're honest with me. Willfully is wonderful because it's a conscientious, consenting choice that you make as an intelligent human being. It also puts you in a sense of control. Nobody, after being driving since you were 16, how many of you started driving at 16? Yeah? Well, then all of a sudden you're a senior and say, no more driving for you. All right, we don't like it. It's hard to give it up. Please, friends, be your own judge. Be your own judge. And if you know clearly that you don't belong on the road, and why don't you belong on the road? Based on what Parkinson's possibly has done to you cognitively or functionally.
Reaction time.
Your reaction time is kaput. You know, your ability to go like this to the brake or this off the gas or turn around, here comes somebody, you know, I'm going to swerve. Forget it. You're slow. You might think it, but you're slow. You got to get that. What else?
My biggest fear is the kid would run out and I wouldn't be able to stop fast enough.
Yeah.
Biggest fear I had.
And I honor you for that because I got to tell you, sometimes I come to work in the dark. Don't ask me why. You might want to start encouraging me to wait till the sun comes up, you know? I'm happy when I'm going to see daylight savings because then I can go home in the dark, right? But it amazes me that I come down Proctor Road, all right? And people on bicycles and people walking in the dark with none of those reflectors on. I mean, one day I came that close to the clinic, got me so disturbed that I didn't know what to do with myself. And I can see, and I had my lights were on and everything. And then one other day I was coming out of my dead-end street and there's a curve, you know, and I didn't think anybody was at the end of my cul-de-sac because we're all on big acre lots. But thank goodness I was on the right side of the street because here comes this lady sashaying down in black clothes in the dark with a black dog. And I was like, this is fun, you know. But I remember I just stopped for a second to thank you God that I did not run her over, right? It would have ruined my life. So if you understand that, and the other thing too is Parkinson's disease can affect your vision, okay? Your reflexes, sometimes you have hearing loss as seniors. So many times it's time to put the keys down. So if you know that you need to be doing this, I encourage you to do it because it'll be a great sense of empowerment, right? Does it make you proud? I did the right thing, all right? Plus, I'm still out there on the road, all right? So I don't want to pull up next to you on Beaverage Road, okay? But frustration is huge. You give up the car keys. What else have you had to give up? You gave up golf, all right? So the things, and so many seniors today are so active, I commend you, that are so active in sports and in activities like this. Tennis and golf and swimming, right? And it's hard, isn't it, when you love something and you're happy on the golf course or you're happy on the tennis court and you're not able to do that. I mean, it's got to break your heart because you miss it. You're longing for a piece of your life that you used to have that through no fault of your own, you can't do it anymore. Are you able to do an alternative? Because sometimes if you're athletic, you can maybe not do the activity, the sport that you loved for so long, but you can do something else. I have a lovely gentleman in Bradenton, and loves the tennis court, all right, loves the tennis court, and he just couldn't do it anymore, all right, so he got in the pool and now he swims, but he replaced this for that, so You're good at everything. You can find some. Bake Connie cookies. I'm gonna make Connie cookies a fundraiser for Parkinson Place. But just accept who you are, and always remember too that lots of times it's age is playing a little part of this too. Have you noticed? Don't blame it all on the Parkinson's that you can't do it anymore. It might be partially that you're aging and your hearing and your eyesight and your reflexes are declining a little bit. So just let it be and make good choices. All right?
I want to say something.
Yeah.
When I first was diagnosed, we went to the doctor and every time I'd see him, I said, oh, that must be due to Parkinson's. Well, that must be due to Parkinson's.
Uh-huh.
He says, Connie, everything is due to Parkinson's.
Right. Right. They told Connie, you know, Connie was women everything when she went to the doctor with Parkinson's disease, and it's not. And that being said, please realize that seniors like us, we have all other what we call comorbidities, right? You can have, you know, arthritis, you can have heart disease, you can have high blood pressure, you can have high cholesterol, you can have all kinds of things playing into how you're feeling. So don't blame it all on Parkinson's disease and really pay attention to how you're doing, you know, all the way around. So, okay, good point. Okay, how else does it make you feel?
Sorry for yourself.
You feel sorry for yourself?
Why me?
Why me? How many of you have had a moment in time that you say, why me? Yeah, I think it's fair, don't you? I think it's fair to, you know, because you look around and you see so many people going through life without the challenges that you face, right? You know, you go anywhere and you say, look at them, they're doing great, and then look at me. Why was I asked, you know, to deal with this? And this is a tough disease. You know, I always pat you on the back because this is 24/7. This disease isn't going anywhere. And just like the other statement that was made over here, that you're frustrated because you don't know what's coming tomorrow. Right? How many have you that frustration? And there's actually can be a fear factor in there too. That heaven alone knows what's coming tomorrow. This is not a disease. I mean, we can stage it, but we can't really say, well, if you're like this today, this is how I'm going to see you next month and next year. You notice that? Also notice that there's no two Parkinson's patients the same. So you don't have a standard. We can't cookie cut your treatment. We can't confirm the timeline or the progression of the steps that you're going to take going into the future. And that's frustrating, isn't it? You know? So I want to encourage you to realize that you are unique unto yourself. Me, myself, and I. So whereas it's very important that you stay alert and aware and be as smart as you can when dealing with Parkinson's, be educated, all right? Understand your disease, but also understand that you are unique and you might have one, some, or none of the symptoms. You might have one, some, or none of the problems. So what's the solution then to living well with Parkinson's? You live where?
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Live today. Just live today. What does that mean to you? Just live today. And why is it so important just to live today? Well, past is gone, so let's just forget about it. I always say, give up the past, engage in the present, and hope for the future. How many of you are doing that? You know, the past was great, but don't live way back then. Have your thoughts, have your memories, have your happy times. Let them pop up and hang on to them once in a while, but don't live back there. Don't say, I remember when I could do this, or remember when I did this, blah, blah, blah. It's gone, it's not coming back. Today is all you have because tomorrow is nothing but a guess. Can we confirm what's coming tomorrow? And what happens today if you are focused on what if perhaps maybe is coming tomorrow? Then what do you do about that? You've lost it, all right? The only thing that you have that's real and tangible is today. The only way that you can evaluate how am I is today, right? Physically and emotionally and mentally, the only thing you have is right now today. And if you waste today worrying about tomorrow, things that what if perhaps maybe, then today is absolutely spoiled. Now, what is so important about communication? most of you, I think 100% of you, have someone in your life that's walking the steps with you, right? How many of you are fortunate enough to have a spouse? Is there anybody here? We all have, right? You all have somebody wonderful that's helping you? Okay, that's critical. That's a gift. That's a gift. The greatest enemy of any relationship is what?
Aloneness.
Huh?
Aloneness.
Aloneness or silence. Silence. And she just made a comment, aloneness. How many of you feel alone? And it's a very good point that can be made. People can feel alone when you've got your loved one sitting right there. Did you know that? What do I mean by that?
I'm not gonna talk to you.
Now, this is how to keep talking, not to not talk to her. So I don't want tips on how not to talk to each other. You don't have to tell each other everything you know, but things that are really, really good or really, really upsetting, you need to talk about. You need to get those feelings up and out, because negative feelings can really hurt you, right? Misunderstandings, concerns, fears, challenges that you are suppressing and burying inside of you will grow and fester. So the best thing that you can do is to sit down and talk to your loved one and simply say, I've really got something on my mind. Can we sit down and talk about this? How many of you have times, how many of you can say to me, I really talk to my spouse? Or do your best,
I tried.
Oh, he's raising his hand and she's shaking her head no. So which one of that team over there should I believe, right? I'm not so sure.
I'm not. He's a talker. I'm not.
Okay, and that's fine. Here's the other thing too. Some people are very, very private. And there's a big difference between talking and communication. Okay? I can talk and talk and talk. I can talk you right to next Tuesday if I set my life. I can sit right on here on this stool and just keep talking day and night. I'll think of something. But I don't necessarily have to tell you anything. Right? About me. All right, when I communicate with you, and what is the goal of communication? What does the word communication mean? With regards to a relationship to people.
Learning.
Huh?
Learning.
Learning. Learning is a good word. It's the ability to get out what's inside of me and feelings you can't see, right? And there's no words in Webster's that will define a feeling, right? But it's my ability to get what's inside of me, inside of you, with a clear understanding and an empathy for me. And that's not easy, right? I'm talking about feelings. What does the word fear mean? What does the word frustrated mean? What does define upset? Define hurt? Define insecurity? Can you? Tough. It's tough to define that word without using that word. Okay? So if you're feeling fearful, or if you're feeling discouraged, or if you're feeling alone, right, you need to say to your loved one, you know what, can we have a time to talk about this? Now, the one thing you have to understand is you bring into this relationship, the marriage, or whatever, what we call the pre-morbid personality. You know, lots of women will say, he doesn't talk to me since he has Parkinson's disease. All right? And also, did he talk to me? To you? Was he a big talker before? No. Just like that wonderful couple, I remember she was it was years ago when I worked with Dr. Schumacher, and she said, well, he's retired and he won't take dance classes. He was like 75 years old, and I said, does he like to dance? And she goes, no. I said, has he ever danced before he retired? No, he hates to dance. And I was like, go figure. Okay? So if you're a private person, that's okay. But it's very, very important, I'm a real believer, for you to talk about things that are causing concern or an upset with you. And it's also even more important to open up your mouth when you have something positive and nice to say. How many of you are doing that? Please do that. If you don't, try to do behavior modification. You know, a lot of Parkinson patients, they become more dependent, they become slower, putting more role and responsibility, more work on the caregiver, okay? So you might no longer be able to mow an acre lot or clean the garage or wash 3 cars, but you still have the ability to open your mouth and show an expression of appreciation and love to your caregiver. Are you doing that? Because I'm here to tell you, let me tell you, caregiving is the worst job out there. And it's a good thing they love you so much. Because life with a Parkinson patient sometimes is very difficult, right, caregivers? You having a good time out there?
It's interesting.
Interesting? Okay, caregivers, tell me about, just describe it for me. Interesting is you have really good one-liners. I'm proud of you. I love when you come to my programs. Interesting is fine. What does the word interesting mean?
Anything's coming.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen next, right? And it's a real good way to look at things. You know, wake up in the morning and say, I sometimes will say to myself in the morning when I know I'm facing a day that, could be great or could be not so great. And I'll just wake up and look in the mirror and say, okay, Marilyn, let's get going. I wonder what's going to happen next. You know, put yourself more into like the Chevy Chase role, which is where I go. I just tell myself I'm a Chevy Chase movie. You know, when I have crazy things happening to me, I just kind of roll with it. But it's interesting because every day is different. Right? Is interesting better than boring?
There are times.
There are times that you would like to have a little bit of boredom, right? But you patients, please understand, you know, that your loved one, the one that's walking with you and holding your hand step by step with this is your greatest gift. Greatest gift. And the more that you can do to help them and to promote them and to appreciate your loved one for being there for you, each of you in your own way, for heaven's sake, open your mouth and tell them. All right? And if you haven't been doing it before today, then you will start today. Okay? Or no more cookies for you. Open your mouth. Thank you for everything. Please for everything. I love you. You know, you look pretty, or I appreciate you, or thank you so much for making my favorite meal. Got it? It takes a conscientious need to do it, but you can do it. How many of you are doing it? Yeah, most of you have a very loving, respectful relationships, and you're lucky to have that. Okay, so what are some of the things that I want you to talk about?
What bothers you, I guess?
What bothers you, okay? Caregivers particularly, and people at large, we tend to want to harbor things that bother us, right? Number one, it's easier not to make waves. And when you're in a relationship with patient, caregiver, and Parkinson's, because there's basically 3 of you, because Parkinson's disease is so visual and so active in your life. It's making active changes. It's not like some of the other diseases that you have, and it's there, but it's not in the forefront. But with Parkinson's, above all the other ones, it's in the forefront. You know, how many of you go through one day without thinking, I have Parkinson's? Oh, good. I'm happy to hear that. That's good. You're in the minority. Because most people with this disease, they hold on to, I have Parkinson's disease, and that defines them. And you may not allow Parkinson's disease to define you. Who are you? Who are you? The disease is just something that is along for the ride. But this is your life. So what defines you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, who are you, Mary? Yes, you do. I know who you are.
I'm a caregiver,
Yeah?
and I don't mind doing it because he's very good to me.
Yes. She defines herself as a caregiver. And she doesn't mind doing it because he is very good to her. Very nice. Okay? Who are you?
I'm a caregiver,
Okay?
and I don't mind doing it.
At all.
I have a wonderful husband. He's, like Mary said, he's good to me.
And you're making it work, right? You're making it work because you come into it with a beautiful relationship that you don't want to lose. And the only thing, you're not going to change the disease, you're not going to change its effects on you, either the patient or the caregiver, So you can learn to modify the way that you think and the way that you live, behavior modification, all right, attitude adjustments, so that you don't allow the disease to negate your life. And this is the other thing that's so important. When people are challenged with a big challenge, and I'm here to tell you, Parkinson's disease, chronic disease, is a big challenge. It can negate people, it can spoil lives, it can hurt relationships, okay? It can decrease quality of life. It can really hurt you if you let it, okay? But if you take on that attitude, here's my words again, you know, I have Parkinson's disease doesn't have me, and I'm going to modify my behavior and my thinking so that I can move forward in my life and continue to enjoy it. Might be different. How many of you are enjoying life? How many of you can say to me, Mary, I have quality of life? What does quality of life mean to you? What's quality of life? You hear it all the time. I write it all the time. I think I just wrote it with a piece that Maureen and I were just writing. Quality of life. What is it? Everybody wants quality of life. What is quality?
Whatever you define it to be.
That's right.
Actually.
That's right. Quality for you might be different than quality for me. Okay? Does quality of life mean free of disease? Does quality of life mean lack of problems, everything is hunky-dory, bed of roses? It doesn't. I have a very simple definition for quality of life for me, you know, and that is the ability to do the things that I love to do with the people that I love to do them with. I'm very simplistic, so I'm happy. I've got great quality of life. You know, my chairman asked me the other day, he said, what makes you happy? I said, I'm really happy. And he says to me, it's Parkinson Place, isn't it? And I said, well, among other things. I have reminded him I'm doing a 57-hour week. I said, I think I might have a little few things in there that make me happy. But what makes you happy? And who are the people that make you happy? Who are the people that you want to share this day with? And do you have that person in your life? That's the other thing, my friends. Always focus on the wonderful quality assets that you have in your life. Don't make a list of what you've lost. Well, I can't drive, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I can't eat this, and I can't go there. Focus on the great things of what do I have? You know, I'm here to tell you, if you've got the love of your life sitting next to you or waiting for you at home, do you have quality of life? Oh, I'm getting a blank stare from some of these people. Of course you do, right?
Well, I'll tell you. We just do what we can and not try to make a big deal out of it.
You got it. Just live.
Just live.
Just live.
Don't let the whole thing overpower you.
Don't give it more credit than it
Right.
deserves, right? It's there, it's going to be there, and focus, that's a beautiful point. Don't focus on it. You got to live with it. You got to make sure you got good medical management. You got to make sure you take your medicine, right? You got to make sure that you're up and out and exercises. You got to make sure that you know, you have a good state of mind with minimal stress. You have to make sure that you have fun, positive things to do. But forget it. Just forget it and just live. How many of you doing that? Good point. You can teach the next class. How to live today to the fullest. Okay? Okay. And what's the key to doing that? What's the key to living well with Parkinson's disease? Yeah.
Getting up in the morning and just feeling alive.
Feeling alive, feeling happy, feeling gracious, right? Grateful.
And singing.
And singing?
Yeah.
Do you sing? Huh?
Not according to her.
No.
Okay, because the chorus is starting. Did y'all know the chorus is starting back up? If you like to sing, I want to see you here on Wednesdays.
Oh, no, you don't.
I give him my mic. I think we got 4 mics in the building now, don't we, Maureen?
He makes up the words as he goes along.
Oh, I don't care. That's okay.
Wonderful.
We have a hysterical chorus coming in with Phyllis Lowett. She's been in Aspen all summer, but she's coming back in in November. And those of you that have never tried the Parkinson course, it is great fun. And it's more than just opening your mouth and making noise. Phyllis teaches you actually how to breathe and how your posture and to breathe and, you know, to have fun. So you're going to be singing that. So I want to see you there. All right? How many of you else like to sing? Try that, because it's going to be a fun thing. That'll be right before Voice on Wednesdays. Be voice and then voice aerobics. Okay? So, living well with Parkinson is getting up every morning and laughing and saying, okay, my life is great. What do I have that makes me happy? What am I going to do today that I love to do? Where am I going to go? Always keep yourself surrounded with real positive, good people, right? This is a real important thing. If you got somebody in your life that's doom and gloom, or what I call a real sourpuss, and we know they're out there, okay, they can really affect the way that you feel and the way that you think. So you seek out people that are on a positive note, that are supportive with their words and their attitude, and give you the attaboy, keep on going, and isn't life great kind of thing. Because it's all about your attitude. Your positive attitude, how you approach it, you know, how you choose to face this day. You and your loved ones together is very, very, very important. So the main message I'm saying is good or bad, talk about it. Share it. You know. Talk about how you can help each other, talk about, you know, your plans for the future, talk about what makes you happy, all right? And really strive to keep talking, because if you don't, then you're guessing what the other person is feeling or thinking, and it's very, very important that the good and bad be brought out in a loving, respectful way, okay? What other challenges? What's your greatest challenge with Parkinson's disease? We can speak of that. What are some of the challenges that you face that you want to step over and sidestep?
Having people not know that you have Parkinson's when you're out in public.
Yeah. Having people not know what you have when you're out in public. You know, this is a disease actually that very, very, very few people really know and understand. It's very easy to identify someone that has had a stroke. And it's easy to identify someone that is in cancer treatment, right? It's very easy to identify someone with rheumatoid arthritis, all right? But with this disease, it's very elusive, and people are going to look at you and it's like, what's wrong with him, what's wrong with her? All right? One of the big things that I would encourage you to do is to help with the awareness and the education about this disease. All right? If people, and we live in a very aesthetic world in America, we think everybody has to be normal, you know, and if you have a symptom or a wheelchair or look a little different or act a little different, then you're quote unquote abnormal. There is absolutely nothing normal in America. So I remember there was a friend in Venice, one of my Venice programs, and you know, he very independent man, but very, very slow. The disease had really slowed him down, and he was checking out at the Publix, the big Publix down there by the hospital. And the man behind him was becoming very impatient because it took him a long time to take out his card and to do his PIN and the whole 9 yards. And he sensed that the man behind him was impatient, because you know, we live in a very impatient world. Did you know that? Everybody's in such a hurry, it drives me crazy. And he just took time and just said, you know, I have Parkinson's disease, and it's hard for me, you know, with my hands, and I'm very, very, very slow. But I like to do things for myself, you know. And he said he could change, he could just sense the whole demeanor of the young man behind him, actually saying, oh, I understand, I didn't understand, okay? So number one, don't ever be ashamed of any of your symptoms. Number two, do not ever stay home for 1 second because of a tremor or because, you know, of freezing or anything else. I forbid it, okay? And if you find people looking at you, I find that really and truthfully, in the world of people dealing with people with functional limits. You notice I don't use the word disability. Disability is something that is not even in my vocabulary. I use the word functional limits. You can do a lot, you can do a lot. That some things you have a little fence around you that beyond that you cannot do. But I find in the American culture, wherever I go, that I know people are very kind and very gracious to people in wheelchairs and on walkers. I learned this with my father. My father was a cardiac cripple the last 3 years of his life, and he had to be in a chair and he had to be pushed because he could not get out and about, you know, with his cardiac limits. And I made more friends when I was pushing my daddy in New Jersey. You know, in the mall, in Home Depot, in restaurants. I mean, I knew all the waiters and whatever, because everybody was opening doors and being gracious and being kind. I think it's very important that we have more of that, you know, that we reach out and, you know, extend our hand, you know, to the people that cross our path. So if you have the opportunity to explain to someone, or if you have someone that is not quite clear what they see with you, tell them. Just tell them. Right? Because there's so many different faces to Parkinson's disease, right? Okay? I'm getting pretty good. I can spot a Parkinson patient a mile away because I know you and I just know how you are. All right, but the average person doesn't know that. Okay? So if somebody asks, looks at you funny, you tell them, you take the time to help them to understand, I have Parkinson's and this is what it is, okay? How do you deal with staying engaged and with staying active and out and about? Are you all trying to do something nice a little bit every day? Some days it's great to stay home. It's the other thing with this disease, it can be very tiring, it can be very stressful, it can be very fatiguing. We all know about that. So, you know, if you're doing something big on Monday, take it a little easier on Tuesday, right? And so be very careful with your month-at-a-glance calendar. And when you're doing big, fun things, plug it in, but then allow yourself in between to rest, to recover, to do things on a lower level. Because you want to pace, but you want to stay engaged. You got to stay active. You know, one of my favorite one-liners that I made up a long time ago was, if you want to stay alive, stay out of the recliner. Right? And if you want to stay positive and motivated, stay out of the gray shabby bathrobe. Right? How many of you ladies have a gray shabby bathrobe? If you do, throw it away and buy one brand new that's hot pink or purple. Go through your closet, donate. Okay? It's a state of mind. It's a state of mind. And the responsibility is yours, you know, to really wrap your head around it, to talk to yourself, to, you know, give yourself the positive affirmations. This is the other thing too in life. You know, life is difficult. Every day comes new challenges and new burdens and new weights to carry, and, you know, and it's true. It's just the way life is. But, you know, I think it's very important that you continue to commend yourself and to affirm yourself and to tell yourself you're great. How many of you really love yourself? Come on. If you don't love you, how am I supposed to love you? You know I love you. If you don't love yourself, how am I supposed to love you? If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. I don't know how to tell you that. The people out there that are mean and malicious hate themselves. Right? They can't love themselves. It's for darn sure there's no way they're going to be loving on me. So you look in the mirror and you say, you know, I am really great the way that I am. And the one thing that you always have to realize and really believe it, affirm it to yourself, is what makes you great, this disease can't even come near touching. Right? And you caregivers, and you patients, you know, the reason that you love one another are wonderful reasons. Why? Aren't they? Why do you love them? Well, those wonderful qualities, you know, his humor, his sincerity, his loyalty, his faithfulness, you know, his love for me, this disease can't touch that. Am I right? So affirm yourself that I am just terrific, just the way that I am, at any age, with or without Parkinson's disease. And I think, just like you said, just get out and live. Forget it. Deal with it when you have to deal with it, but don't let it overcome you. Don't let it lead you. Don't let it define you. Because you are not a person with Parkinson's. You are a wonderful, wonderful human being. Right? How's that sound? Pretty good? What else? Any challenges that you faced this week? Any success stories that you want to share with me? Did any of you face a challenge that you figured out, you overcame it? You played the positive note, sidestep and step over? Huh? Any celebrations?
Few weeks.
What's that?
Birthday.
Birthday. Better with age, I call it. Yeah, better when you have to celebrate every birthday and every year that you're lucky enough to live another life, you know? So, okay, we can do that. Any special topics that you're really interested in? I'm putting together all of our programs for next year. We're going to have a physician forum on January the 10th. There's going to be 4 physicians in here with great topics of interest and the opportunity to ask questions and answers to some of the top experts in Parkinson's disease. So that's coming. Then we're going to have the Do It All with Parkinson's, which is going to be a whole lot of vignettes. What do I say? Do it all with Parkinson's. Sleep well, eat right. What else? Be aware. Learn to live with memory loss. Okay, keep moving, physical therapy. So that's all going to be a fun thing, probably from maybe 10 to 2, 10 to 3 with lunch. That's coming. And then we have a lot of the holiday festivities and the good things coming for you. Are there any topics of interest that you want me to include in anything? I try to hit everything for you and bring in speakers to keep you educated and empowered. Educated and empowered. Positive, moving forward. Okay, so if there's anything that you want to hear or anything that you want to see, you just let me know and we'll plug it in. Okay? So, that's that for today. Did you enjoy this? All right, how many of you are going to keep talking? Keep talking, keep sharing the good things, all right? I always like it. I have total strangers come up to me and say, I love you, Mar. And it's the nicest thing. It doesn't cost them a dime, but it sure does, give me the boost that I need to keep going and trying to grow the organization. Have you been pleased with the past year here at Parkinson Place? Yeah, and how has it helped you? Has it helped you?
Tremendous.
Yeah, what has it done for you?
It just turned my life.
It turned your life? Huh?
You got him moving.
It got him moving and it turns his life. Okay, that's what I want to hear. What about the rest of you? How has Parkinson Place changed you or helped you or contributed to your quality of life? Has it?
I like being here for the caregivers, and with this here and the caregivers, because I learn a lot from the caregivers
Mhm.
and everybody in this room, what to expect, what they're experiencing.
Well.
I know that, like I said, no 2 patients are alike, but, you see what's going on with everybody.
Right. Caregiver Made Easy is a program that I do, and it's been growing. It's a very, very fine program. It's exclusively for caregivers, giving you the opportunity to talk about your feelings and get the coping skills and resources that you need to stay strong, okay? And that Caregiving Made Easy program, that runs at the same time as voice aerobics on Wednesdays at 1, because voice aerobics is really the only class that we offer at Parkinson Place that you caregivers really don't need to take, Okay? So that's the time that you can come and be with me. It's an open discussion. I do give you coping skills, motivation, support, but I also give you the opportunity once a week really to get your feelings up and out and ask questions. Talk about what's going on with you, get you back on the mainstream for a positive life. because it's very important for me to really promote you to have a positive patient-caregiver relationship, right?
Right.
A positive patient-caregiver relationship, and that's based on, we love each other, we're in it together, we're partners, all right? We're gonna hold hands and here we go. But just sometimes along the way, you need a little support and a little guidance to keep you on the path of moving forward on a positive note, okay? So that's a real good program that I haven't really started to market yet, but it's growing. We just have a good old time in there, okay? Okay, I want you to have a great week. What do we got going on this afternoon? What follows me? Tai Chi, and I've been so pleased with the Tai Chi because you're only doing great. And Kathy Sims is so happy you're standing, you're doing, you're better balanced and everything is terrific. And then tomorrow, what do we do on Thursdays? We do fun fitness.
Let's dance,
Let's
fun
dance.
fitness.
Oh, we do let's dance, and then we do what?
Tai Chi.
Tai Chi, okay. So if you do your best to get up and get out and get in here, all right? But balance it out with all the great things and the happy things that you've got going on in your personal life as well, okay? It's balancing act.